Life in itself was never meant to be easy, but that does not mean to say God does not have our back. He's got our backs. You know, He runs the whole world in His hands. Welcome to the Spotlights with me, Chilesha Joyce Mukunda, as we navigate through this life together. On the Spotlight, we have meaningful conversations that helps us to be equipped, edified, and ignite the pursuit of purpose. Today, on this edition, we are going to be talking about life. Yes, I said it, life. So, in our edition, we are going to look at the following points. The first thing that we are going to look at, we're going to look at the ups and the downs of life. And then we are going to look at the effects of the negative and the good times of life. And then the other thing that we're going to look at, we are going to look at why is it important for us to go through the ups and the downs of life. And then lastly, we are going to look at on how best we can deal with these negative effects that come into our lives. Truth be told, all of us have had this plan that we've had for our lives. Since the time that we were young, we've had this plan to say, you know what, when I grow up, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. But then at the end of the day, life hits us in different ways. And some of us have not really been able to become what we wanted to become. So if you are going through a difficult time, come, let's cry together. So the positives and the negatives of life will always be a part of our experience, because you can never really appreciate true happiness if you have never been sad. And you can never really appreciate what health is if you have never been sick. You can never appreciate friendship if you have never been lonely in life. You can never appreciate peace if you have never been at war. So the downs that we experience in life, they're there to help us grow and become the best versions of ourselves. A number of us have gone through difficult situations, challenging situations, that when we sit down today, we can tell ourselves to say, did I really go through that? Did I really manage to actually overcome that challenge? So it is very important that we go through those lows or those highs of life in order for us to be able to grow and become the best versions of ourselves. The other thing is that, did you know that there is little that you can learn from your success? But there is everything to learn from your failures or from the negativity. And as I have walked through this life, this is one thing that I have realized, you know, that man's greatest fear is not death alone, but failure. Because all of us know that at the end of the day, no one is going to make it alive. But how we live our lives from the day of our birth to the day that we die, this in between is our greatest fear. Welcome to today's episode. So I encourage you to mention somebody's name, to leave a comment down there. What are some of the challenges that you're going through, and how are you navigating through those challenges? Yes. So right now we are going to look at the effects of negative times. What are some of the things that you have experienced as a person as you have gone through the lows of life? The truth is that a number of us are able to face life when everything is okay. But it is very difficult for us to actually navigate through life when difficult times are constantly coming our ways. Sometimes it feels like we have been chosen for particular issues. But then the truth is, you can still get through it. So one of the effects of negative times is that you will not really have a clear vision. You know, where at the beginning of your life you had a plan, you knew exactly where you wanted to be at. The plan was to go to school, go to college, get a job. But then in the process, life introduces its own things. And now we are not really able to see clearly where we are going. In the midst of the storm, it is very difficult for you to tell exactly where you are going. But there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And then the other thing that we can look at is that we experience a lot of pain when things are not going the way we have always planned. All right, when you look at your peers, they are making it, they're doing fine, everything seems to be okay with them. But when you look at yourself, things seem to be slagging, things seem to be not really working the way you would have wanted them to happen. So at the end of the day, you experience this constant pain. And sometimes we experience a lot of frustrations, more especially if things are not working in your favor. And if you are really trying your very best to ensure that things are working out and they are not working out, you tend to be frustrated. You try to apply for jobs and they are not coming through. You try to look for a partner and nobody is looking at you. Did I say that? Yeah, and sometimes you want support from family and it seems like they don't really get to understand you. And sometimes you're trying as hard as possible to fight against an addiction and people don't seem to understand you. So at the end of the day, you're left with no choice but to feel a bit frustrated. Yeah. And when people are making it in life and we are not equally on the same pace with them, it's not that we envy them or we're jealous of them, but sometimes the question is, when will my time be? So probably maybe that's the question that you're asking yourself. Maybe I am also asking myself that same question. When will my time come? The other thing, the other effect that we experience as we go through the laws of life is that we get to experience a lot of regrets. Sometimes it could be that there are decisions that you have made in life that have put you in that position. And sometimes it could be just decisions that other people made that have brought you to that particular position where you are in life. And therefore, a lot of regrets, a lot of shame, a lot of mixed feelings tend to come in. But then at the end of the day, the truth be told is that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. In the midst of everything that you are going through, there is a silver lining. There is something to be grateful for. So yes, thank you. We are here at the Spotlight. Yes, where we get to have meaningful conversations. So in the times when we are happy, you know, it's easy for you to even brag about the things that you can do. It's easy for you to even brag about your capabilities, you know. But then when times are really tough, when times are really challenging, it's very hard for you to even lift your head and talk about the things that you can do. But then, you know what I will tell you? You got this, you know. You really, really, really get this. So facing our fears is very important. It's very important that we learn to overcome the challenges that we are facing. Don't shun away from them. Go on and fight those battles that are coming your way. Yeah? Yes. So we continue. At this particular point, we are going to look at why is it important for us to experience the ups and the downs of life. So number one is that we can learn to depend upon God. Wherever you are in this life, at any given point where you are in this life, the truth is that all of us believe that there is a supreme being. Whatever that you call him, I call him God, I call him Jesus, I call him the Holy Spirit. So it is very important that when we go through these laws of life, we understand to say there is a supreme being that we need to depend upon. Because when you're going through a very difficult time of life, there is always somebody up there that you will speak to. And I don't know what you call him, but I call him Jesus. So you will be able to call on him and tell him to say, you know what, I don't know how, but I expect you to come through for me. And when he surely comes through for you, you will be able to tell a testimony to say, had it not been for God who was by my side, I don't know what could have happened to me. The other thing is that it is very important that we experience our laws of life and our ups of life. This is because it helps us to face our fears. Some of the challenges that you thought you couldn't overcome, you have overcome them today. Why? Because you faced your challenges as they came to you. And then the other thing that helps us, or that is very important in order for us to experience all of these things, is it's easy for us to get to know what our strengths and our weaknesses are. So don't shun away from those challenges, from those difficulties, from those happy moments that will come in your life, because at the end of the day, they will be able to help you know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. It is much more easier to live through life when you know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. When you know your strengths, you will be able to build on them. When you know your weaknesses, you will be able to know how you can navigate this life because you know yourself from both angles. So self-awareness comes in as we go through these ups and the downs of life. Then the other thing that is there is when we go through these difficult times, when we go through these happy moments of our lives, they help us to become kind and humble. It is only a person who has never suffered in this life that will be able to look down on another person. But if you have gone through difficult times in your life, if you've gone through hard times in your life, when you look at another person who is trying to get to the top, you will not be able to look down on them because you have been through that moment, and you will be able to show kindness to such a one. So as you are up there, remember that the people that are down there need your help. just like you needed somebody's help at a particular point. So these negative times, I do agree that sometimes we become depressed, we become stressed, and at times we even become suicidal. We become so ungrateful in those moments, we even feel like giving up. But then it is very important that we learn to keep a positive side of it all. Remember, it's not about the ups and the downs, it's about how you deal with these situations at every particular time. Yes, let's sip some coffee at this particular moment. Yep. Cool. So all of us just have a glimpse of what the future holds. As we go through all of these difficult moments of our lives, we just have this little picture of what the future holds. But then the truth is, if you give up today, you will stop yourself from becoming, or you will stop yourself from the bigger picture becoming into reality. Remember, sometimes if you give up today, you don't know how many destinies you're giving up. There are a lot of people that are waiting for you to make it in order for their lives to be lifted up as well. Remember, you are blessed in order for you to be a blessing to another person. So stop dreaming, don't stop yourself from dreaming, keep dreaming, keep believing, keep hoping. At the end of the day, it will surely come to pass. So dreaming is free, all of us have these bigger dreams. But the question is, how much are you willing to put down in order for you to actually make that dream into reality? The funny part, I was telling myself the other day to say, when we are dreaming, we have a lot of options, but the reality of life does not really give us a lot of options. But then you can still create those options. You can still create those opportunities. Use what you have to get what you want. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a very, 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 very possible way. So as we walk through this life, the truth is that we'll encounter a lot of things that we have not planned for. We'll encounter a lot of things that we have not planned for. But then the truth is, the fact that you have turned into a wrong route does not mean that you have to completely give up on the journey. Staying there in the wrong route for a long time will actually consume a lot of your time. So get up and try to look for the right path again. So at this particular point, we are going to just take time and look at how do we deal with the negative things that comes to us in this life. Thank you so much to everybody that is still watching up to this point. If you are still watching, it simply means to say you love what is here. So remember to like, comment, tag somebody, or even subscribe. Yeah, it will make a very big difference. So number one, when I'm going through a difficult time, what am I supposed to do? Number one, practice some kindness. There is a lot of unkindness in this world, a lot. Social media is unkind. Sometimes family can be unkind. Seasons of life can be unkind. So the best thing that you can ever do to yourself is not to be against yourself, but practice a bit of grace. Practice a bit of kindness toward yourself. Don't beat yourself so hard if things are not actually moving the way you would have wanted them to move. Sometimes your peers, your friends have gone ahead of you, things are happening in their lives, and you sit down and tell yourself to say, Nangai nevizaka chinjaliti. But then, be a bit kind with yourself. Understand to say your season and their season are two different things. You might be born on the same day, but that does not mean to say you will encounter grace the same time. So be kind to yourself. In those days, show yourself grace and show yourself a lot of love. The other thing that we can talk about is that don't allow fear to rule your life. A number of us have given up on things that we could have done, or we have even given up on ourselves because we are so afraid of making mistakes, because we are so afraid of what if things don't really work out for me. But then did you know that if you do not try anything, did you know that if you do not try to risk it in your life, you have a lot of regrets compared to the regrets that you're having right now? So please, I beg you, in all honesty and in all truth, don't live in fear. Allow yourself to experience life and allow yourself to actually take risks. It is very important that you do take these risks, because if you do not, you will not grow. You will never know what you're capable of. You will never know what you could have become if you do not try these things out. The other thing is that allow yourself to heal. As we go through all of these times in our lives, we get hurt, we get broken, we get beaten down, and most of the times we just want to give up. Truth be told, there are days that I never want to wake up. Like, I just want to stay in bed the whole time. I just want to breathe. I just want to breathe. But then at the end of the day, I give myself grace to actually heal from yesterday's injuries or from yesterday's pains. So if you do not grant yourself grace, you will never really experience life in full. If you never allow yourself to heal from the things that you have done or from the things that you have encountered, you will never actually allow yourself to live life. Healing is not something that just comes when we think about it, then in a twinkle of an eye, it's there, you've healed. It doesn't work like that. It is a process. Therefore, allow yourself to experience that. Allow yourself to experience these hateful feelings that you're feeling. Allow yourself to feel guilt. Allow yourself to feel bad when things are not happening in your life, because it is in those moments that you will be able to draw your strength. The other thing that we can look at is believe in God. I don't know how much I can emphasize on this point, but believe in God. You know, there is a great strength or a great assurance that comes in knowing the fact that there is a power above you that has got you back. So in those moments when you feel like life is not happening or life is not lifing for you, take your time and pray. Take your time and read the Bible. Take your time and just have that moment to just tell God, to say, God, you know what? I don't know what I am doing at this point. I don't know how I'm feeling at this point, but I know you got me. So it is very, very important that you believe in a supreme being. It is very, very important. And in those situations when you are still confused and not really sure about what to do with your life, ask questions. You know, we can always go back. The whole point why a manufacturer puts a menu book in a box of probably maybe a product that they have produced, it's because whenever you are stuck and not really sure on how to use that particular equipment, you can always go back to the menu and ask or read through to the menu to say, how do I operate this? How do I use this? So it is very important to always go back to God and ask him to say, where are we going from here? What is the plan? Am I still on that list of people that you're going to bless as we go or as we forge ahead? So go back to your Father and talk to him. It is very important. The other thing that we can look at is that reach out to people. You know, life was never meant to be done alone. Life was never meant to be lived alone. Struggles were never meant to be overcome alone. In these moments, it's very important that you have a circle that you can be able to go to and be able to express yourself. And these people that you're going to tell about the issues or about the things that you're going through should be a circle that is not going to be judgmental towards what you're telling them. So you know what, you guys, I have messed up, and they'll be like, yeah, can you really do that? Honestly speaking, yeah? But then it should be a circle that will be able to understand, to say you are a work in progress, and that whatever that you are going through, they can be able to hold you down and be able to talk to you through it all. So in a situation where you've tried to talk to people and then you feel like it is not working out, it is okay to go for counseling. It's okay to go for therapy. It's okay to seek professional help. I know it is not African. I know. Most especially for our brothers, I know it is very difficult for you to just go and open up to somebody to say, this is what I am going through. But then it is very important that you have a group of people or a set of friends that you can go to in your difficult times and just explain to them what you are actually going through. It is very important. Sometimes we don't really need somebody that is going to be there to advise us, but sometimes all that we need is just somebody to listen to us as we vent. You know, the answer sometimes lies within us, and as we speak about what we are going through, we will be able to find all of these answers that we are seeking about this life. And then the other thing is that, take note, it's not every person that you can open up to about what you are going through. So make sure that the people that you are expressing yourselves to, or make sure that the people you are telling about what you are going through, that these people are trustworthy, that these people will understand you, and that these people are actually looking for what is actually best for you. So be very careful even as you tell people about what you are going through. Sometimes some people that we tell things to are just looking for news so that they can be able to have something to talk about. You know, a situation where today you explain what you're going through to somebody, the next minute is you find somebody that is not even close to you is talking about what you are going through. So make sure that the people that you're explaining to what you are going through are people that actually have the best of interest for you at heart. Mkwai. Mkwai. So my take home point, at this particular point, my take home point is this. Sleepless nights will come. Storms will come. Challenges will come. They are not going anywhere. If you are not encountering those moments today, you will surely encounter them. But and then sometimes you actually need to sit down and actually cry. Like have a very good night cry where nobody knows. You're just there in your room and you really break down. And sometimes you actually need to let go of things that you hold so dear to your heart. But in all this, it is very important that you do not give up on yourself. It is very important that you do not give up on your dreams. And it is very important that you still hold on to the vision. And it is very important that you hold on to your God. So until we become what we want to become, we will not actually relent. Yes. So losses will come in life. Losses will come in life. But then the most important thing is that we learn from whatever loss that we have encountered so that we can be able to put them down, that they should be stepping stones for our next level. The truth is, there is no way out. There is just a way through it all. So thank you so much to every person that took their time to listen to today's episode on the Spotlight, where we got to discuss about life, how to deal with difficult situations, why is it important that we go through the highs and the lows, and we also discussed about the effects of the lows. It is very important that all of us get to accept to say challenges are going to come in our lives. But then the most important thing is how we deal with them. Thank you so much to everybody that watched. So from me, Chilesha Joyce Mukonta, it's bye-bye till the next edition.